Hey y'all, welcome to the Planner Suite.
So you just got engaged and you're probably wondering what's next.
So we're here to give you the order of how you should break down picking your vendors for your wedding. So Whitney and I both plan weddings with Amy Cynthia Events, and we do several different weddings and events over the years. And typically we find that a lot of our couples and clients are booking their vendors in the wrong order. So we're here to break it down for you. So like Whitney said, you just got engaged. What is the first thing you're going to do?
What would be the first thing?
I would say pick your dates. First, I want to say book me. Book me first.
Book us.
But you need to pick your dates. Like that's really, really important. And you need to prioritize what is important. So Whitney is really big with content and other things, but really in the space right now with Instagram, it's really big of like having really good pictures, really nice decor. So Whitney, what would you say that you would pick for first?
So first I would pick my date. But I think date is very important because you shouldn't pick just one. But for me, as a content girly, I would probably choose a venue based on vibes. But before I would do that, I would pick a planner. So let me back up. I would do date, planner, and then venue, because I also want to make sure that I'm talking with my planner to make sure that my venue fits my vibe.
I can agree with that. And that's really important too, because I'll just tell you a story about a wedding that we had that the bride had already booked her venue months before she booked us, because they think they can do it all themselves. And there's no shade to you DIY girlies. I love it.
We love the DIY brides.
I DIY'd some stuff myself, but
we love and hate y'all at the same time.
Yeah, but I will say that you really have to design your wedding first and pick venues that make sense. So please do not go pick a barn in the middle of nowhere and then come to us with chandeliers and glam. It's just not going to work. I can't make that.
We can't glam a barn.
I can't glam a barn. No, you can glam a barn. It could just be a farm glam.
But it's not going to cost you a crazy amount.
Yeah, a crazy amount of money. So just make sure when you're picking that venue that is $5,000 or $1,000, make sure that you know that you're going to have to put money into that investment to make that venue look like what you want it to look like. Maybe you're going to have to do pipe and drape. That might be $10,000. So now you're at $15,000.
Let's stop right there, because people are always like, I can just pipe and drape. Y'all, pipe and drape is not cheap.
It's expensive.
I just want to plug that in. Pipe and drape is not cheap. Okay?
Yeah.
I just had to plug that in.
Yeah, it is not cheap at all. And on top of that too, what does the venue come with? Does it come with chairs? Does it come with tables? Like, what does it actually come with? A lot of these venues are coming with nothing. And yeah, then we have to build it. So you got a shed, and now we need to build your perfect wedding space. So that's the number one thing. Another thing too is we talked about dates. So let's talk about dates a little bit. So you should be picking at least 3 dates, right? I would say pick a weekday, and I know you guys are going to want to fight me on that, but weekdays are cheaper, okay? And then a Saturday, and I would also look into a Sunday or maybe a holiday weekend too. Mm-hmm. The good thing about weekdays, they tend to be a little bit cheaper at some venues than others, but then it gives you versatility. So that if that photographer you wanted, that's amazing, is booked on Saturday, you have that option on a weekday or on a Sunday for them.
Amy, I feel like the wedding warriors are about to come for you.
A weekday wedding. And they'll be fine. If they love you, they are going to be there. Like, they are going to be there. And I mean, it's cheaper.
It's so much cheaper.
It's not cheaper for me. The price is the price.
Yeah.
But it is cheaper on a weekday for at least the venue or a non-peak day or even non-peak season. So let's talk about it. There's peak season and there's non-peak season. And not all venues have that. Some venues, I'm not going to lie, if you want to get married at the Legacy Castle, y'all know what the Legacy Castle is. It's always peak, okay?
And if you don't know, just Google it. Google it. It's always there. It's free.
Right. You want to get married at the Bellevue? It's always peak. You're not going to be able to do that. But there's some venues that have a non-peak season. And I'm going to say this. It has changed a lot throughout the years. So it used to be winter weddings, like November through January, November through maybe March. It was cheaper to get married. But guess what? You guys are having weddings every day of the year now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see those days go, but really look at your options, and a wedding planner can help you guys do that, right? So making sure that you're booking a wedding planner, you're booking us, request Whitney, request myself, or anyone else on the team can really help you with picking your order of vendors. In that process, make sure you're picking a wedding planner that can also design for you. Not all wedding planners design. So in that process, if you're picking your dates, then you are booking a wedding planner. We're also looking at designing for you. And when we design, we can help you pick your venue, the right venue you need for your wedding date.
So something I wanted to go back to, Amy, is we were talking about how much cheaper it is when you do your wedding on a weekday. Do you have an example of like a price difference?
Yeah, I mean, it's typically just like, depending on the venue, it could just be like $2,000 to $3,000, $2,000 to $5,000. But with those full service venues, a food and beverage minimum for a Saturday night is significantly different than a food and beverage minimum for a Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So that could be anything from like $10,000 to $15,000 to, hey, I can break down that food and beverage minimum to $8,500. Which is huge. And honestly, if you're having a wedding of 100 to 150 people, you're probably going to spend that anyway. But if you're not having an open bar and you're just having like, food and maybe going on consumption, you can absolutely hit that $8,500, bringing it down.
Right.
So let's talk about this. What is a food and beverage minimum? Because some people don't know what that is. So when you go to a venue, any space, they're probably going to have a room rental fee, and then they're going to have a food and beverage minimum. Keep in mind, these are only for venues that have catering, okay? If they're providing food with them. If they don't have food with them, you're not going to have a food and beverage minimum. Typically, they hit a certain amount of money that you have to spend that night on your wedding day in order to book the space, and you're contracted to it based on your guest count.
Okay, so we have planner first, AC events first.
Or your date. Like, pick your dates. Because if you book your planner first, then you are now subject to their availability for your wedding date.
So all right, so let's get on one accord. Okay. Date, planner, venue. What's next?
Date, planner, venue. I would say photographer.
I was going to say, I know what I would choose next.
So when we're booking for our clients, I mean, the top 5, like, of course, your venue, us obviously, but we take ourselves out of that. But it's like DJ, you need a DJ, and you need a photographer. You don't need a photographer, but at least have a content creator, or be okay if you're not getting that footage. You need a caterer as well. And one thing we all forget, and I don't know why this is the last person.
I know what you're going to say.
What is it?
Makeup.
No.
Oh, I was going to say makeup. The people always put makeup last.
They do. And then the people that they want are booked. But really, it's officiant.
Oh,
like, why are we waiting last to book the person that's going to marry you?
So we had a bride who wanted an officiant. I don't know if you remember this, but they wanted an officiant, and they were not booked. They were not available that day.
I remember that.
And so we were searching high and low. We were looking for an officiant that didn't even know them to marry them, because they waited until the last minute to book their officiant. That's a good point. I completely forgot about that.
I really feel like that's like the first thing you should do in marriage counseling. But because of this day and age and Instagram, we want decor first.
But also, I've realized that a lot of officiants will not marry you unless you have like a certain amount of time of marriage counseling.
Right.
So that's another reason to put your officiant, top of your to-do list.
Absolutely. So that would be kind of like my top 5 of what you guys should do. I mean, you guys could do whatever you guys want, but I would say book a planner first, because it's a new space, right? It's not familiar, and TikTok will tell you could do it all.
Yeah, Amy's about to get on her soapbox. She hates the TikTok brides.
I don't hate TikTok brides. That's not it. I think my issue is some of the stuff works for some people, but it doesn't work for everyone. And we need to really get into the space of understanding that wedding planners were here before TikTok, right? And it's not that we know everything, but we've had so many different scenarios that we can help you through those different spaces. So I think that these are some great things to keep in mind, especially with wedding planning. You just got engaged, set up a consultation. Not all planners charge for consultations. So set up a consultation, get a vibe of what these different planners do and how they do it, and pick their brain and ask those questions.
And also, I always say date the planners. Figure out which one matches your vibe. Figure out which one you mesh well with. Because just because you like the aesthetic of a planner on social media doesn't mean that you're going to get along well. So like Amy said, a lot of planners offer those free consultations. Do multiple and figure out which planner works best for you. And then once you find that one that works for you, book them.
Absolutely.
Now, I will say, we work well with a lot of people.
We do. We work well with a lot of people. And I'm like, naturally, I'm a really nice person. So, well, I'm a really nice person. I feel that way. But I'm just going to say that every personality type is not for everyone. And that's with your planner, and that's with your vendors as well. And just know that in the quality of the wedding that you're looking for, it's one day. So knowing that spending for those additional services in certain areas might be more worth it in other areas than others.
So who would you be willing to spend on? Who are you willing to splurge on? Well, you've already gotten married. But who did you splurge on?
So I splurged on, can I do shout outs? I'm going to do a couple shout outs.
Go ahead.
So, MUA, Tia. Tia did my makeup out of Miami. Amazing. I didn't know I hired a bridal attendant, and I'm not going to go off on a rant on what a bridal attendant is or a maitre d'.
Explain, because people probably don't know.
So a bridal attendant or like a maitre d' is someone who is there like, hey, I want like a latte, which Tia did not do that for me. But if I had needed anything, she was helping me put my shoes on. She helped me put on my dress. She fluffed it. She made sure I had sparkle where I needed sparkle. I didn't even know I was paying for that. I thought I was just paying for a makeup artist, and I paid for someone who made sure that I did not skip a beat the whole day. And then on top of that, I mean, Stan Lowe, amazing for photography. And my hairstylist, McDiva, was so good. I was getting in my dress. Stan Lowe helped me get in my dress. he was able to like get it. And it was amazing. Everyone was so on point. And I think when we talk about luxury weddings and those individuals and you try to look at price points, I don't know, I'm going a little bit off on a tangent. This is another subject for another day. The price was worth the price. The experience was worth the experience.
Yeah.
And having those people there, it was almost like Tia was like my bridal attendant. I feel like our planning team didn't even have to worry if I didn't have what I needed because my beauty staff was there for me the whole time. Yeah.
So Amy said she would splurge on makeup, photography, hairstylist. Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. And decor. Don't skip on decor because you will walk in underwhelmed. Yeah. I'm telling you, like, it's expensive. I get it. But you will walk in underwhelmed. And that is all. Whitney's not married, so I'll let her talk.
I'm not married yet. Not even close. But if I was getting married. Let me not put that in the atmosphere. God, okay, we talk about what is what can happen. No, I'm kidding. But if I had to splurge on my vendors, my glam squad for sure, because that's what's always going to be the memory, the pictures, the videos. And then, of course, I would splurge on photography. I told you I love content. So, I know people are like, you shouldn't do it for the gram. I'm going to always do it for the gram. So I want my pictures to look good. I want what I'm posting. Real quick? Yeah.
Can we be honest about saying that we're doing it for the gram?
Yeah.
Like, come in with that. Like, hey, I'm doing it for the gram because that's important. Because I will guide you differently if you tell me that you're doing it for Instagram.
Yeah.
Because you can't hire the same people that you would hire if you weren't doing it for the gram. Because they need the following. They need to get it out there. I'm sorry. You need to tell us. You need to be honest.
My photographer has to be one that's going to do it for the gram. Like, has to be. So for me, glam squad, photographer, and then DJ. If you know me, you already know. I'm here for the vibes. I'm here for a good time. My reception, DJ has to shut it down. Like DJ, I would splurge on a good DJ.
That's a good one.
And I hate a lazy DJ. So we're not doing that at my wedding. So yeah, those are the three things I'm splurging on.
Yeah, like you have to mix the music.
Yes.
Don't stop a song and go into the next one. Oh, and then if there's no music playing for a little bit, why are we hearing crickets?
I would shut the whole reception down.
No, but this is good. Just looping it back, like have this conversation. If you just got engaged, have this conversation about your non-negotiables and what you'll splurge on before you meet your planner, because it will definitely lay the land of what is priority on your budget. And I would say we're going to have another episode for a budget next time, because this is kind of going and going. But if you just got engaged, this is the tips, tricks, things that you guys need to do.
So we shared our top 3, and now we want to hear from you. Comment, DM us, let us know your top 3 vendors that you're splurging on, especially if you're newly engaged. Think about it, write it out, let us know, because we want to hear from y'all. And then we'll see you next week right here in the Planner Suite. But in the meantime, make sure you're following us at Amy Cynthia Events.
And if we made such an impact on you guys, make sure to just go to our website and put in an inquiry. We're here for consultations anytime.
Can't wait to chat with y'all, and see you
next time
in the Planner Suite.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. We said